afternoon, Griffins. Mr. Grewcock here, and today I just want to briefly touch upon the three main topics that we're going to be exploring in maths in the Spring 1 half term. So you've already made a start at multiplication, and that's going to be going up to multiplying 4 digits by 2 digits. Following on from this, we'll be looking at division and dividing 4 digits by 1 digit before finishing off with multiplying fractions, so really using that work you did on fractions last half term. Now, just for a couple of minutes, I just wanted to explore division together, just to give you an example on the board, so you've got a bit more of an idea of how we use what is known as the bus stop method. So I'm going to write a 4-digit number up onto the board. So we've got 2,742. And we're going to be dividing it by 3. Now, when we use the bus stop method, the number that we are dividing goes inside our bus stop, and the number we're dividing by goes outside our bus stop. Now, first things first, we work from left to right. Unlike multiplication, where we typically work from the ones column up towards the thousands, this time we start at the thousands, work to the right towards the ones. So we first look at what digit is in the thousands column. We have a 2. How many times does 3 go into 2? Well, I can't make a group of 3 out of 2, it is too small, so 0. However, I can't just ignore that 2. It still exists, it's still there. So what we're going to do is cross it out, and we're going to carry it over. Very similar to when we multiply, how we exchange, we are carrying over that 2. So instead of looking at 7 lots of 100 now, we are looking at 27 lots of 100. Okay, so how many times does 3 go into 27? This is why it's really useful if you practice your times tables at home, because I know that 3 times 9 is 27. So 3 goes into 27 9 times. Now look over to the tens column. We have 4 lots of 10. How many times does 3 go into 4? Well, if I draw 4 counters up here, I can make one group of 3. So it goes in once. However, we cannot ignore this final counter. This is what is known as a remainder. We have 1 remaining. So we cross out that 4, and that 1 remainder goes over into our ones column. So instead of having 2 lots of 1, we now have 12 lots of 1. Finally, how many times does 3 go into 12? Well, I know 3 times 4 is 12, so it goes in 4 times. Therefore, 2,742 divided by 3 gives us a final answer of 914. We'll be going into this in more depth over the following term. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon, Year 5 families. Mrs. Quick here, and I'm here to talk to you about our English for this half term. This half term, in our writing, we're going to be looking at a clip from Literacy Shed called Alma. And from that, we're going to be writing a short piece using figurative language. Figurative language is things that give you an image in your mind, such as similes and metaphors. Now, a simile is when you're comparing something. For example, the snow was like a blanket covering the ground. There it's saying that it was just like a blanket. Whereas a metaphor tells you that it was something. So my example there is, the snow was a blanket on the ground. Hopefully the children will be able to produce some work full of these figurative language qualities. After that, we're going to be looking for reading and in our writing at a book called The Arrival by Sean Tan. This is a fabulous picture book. There's no words, it's just a picture book. It's lovely. And it ties in really, really well with our topic this half term, which is MAFA, which is a lot about Black history. It's talking about an immigrant, and the children will be looking at creating a piece with dialogue. Obviously there's no words in this, so they'll be using their imagination, they'll be creating dialogue, and they'll be learning how to advance action through dialogue, which really means that instead of having a piece of writing that says someone did this, someone did that, actually they'll be describing a conversation where that will move the action on. It's a new skill for them, and I'm sure that they'll really enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Griffins. Mr. Screwcock here, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about our Wide Horizons learning in the Spring 1 half term. Our topic this term is MAFA, which is all about African history, focusing on areas such as the Kingdom of Benin and the history of Windrush. We'll also be exploring the cause and effects of Britain's role in the transatlantic slave trade. Windrush was all about people migrating into Britain, and we're going to be giving a look at that and to see how that has changed British culture as well. Now, from our history topic, we also will be looking at geography this half term, and we'll be looking at the continent of Africa as a whole and going into real detail of the countries within it. Now, I mentioned previously that we'll be looking at the transatlantic slave trade. We'll also be looking at the slave route in our geography work and how the oceanic trade brought men through that route. At home, it'd be really wonderful if you could do your own research on Britain's role in the transatlantic slave trade, as well as the artefacts of the Kingdom of Benin, or maybe you could write us a paper about Windrush. Thank you so much.